Hello, everyone, and welcome to Turn the Page. And there's no introductions that are needed here. If anything, I'm Janine. Will the real Janine please stand up?
There's two of us.
Yes, so Catherine Edwards, all the way from the UK. How are you? And Tarot by Janine, how are you doing? And welcome. This is a really exciting show. I've been waiting for this. I can't believe it was a month ago that I asked you guys to be on the round table, and here it is already. You guys believe the time?
Yeah.
I was just saying to you, Janine, before we started, I just cannot get over the time this year.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely flying past. But normally I'm a really organised person, and this time it's just like everything's been chucked up in the air and just landing whether it wants to. For me, anyway. Is that just me, or is anyone else experiencing that?
Experiencing the same thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Janine, how are you doing?
Me too. Oh, I'm doing good. Yeah, I was up really early going to see off those truckers coming through Calgary, so that was exciting. But yeah, I'm doing great.
So I took a trip Saturday to Oklahoma City. I reside in Northwest Arkansas now, and it was about a 3.5 hour drive to Oklahoma City for me to see. Excuse me. The chai tea really. So I saw when I was doing the drive, there was nothing but trucks on the road. And I couldn't believe how many trucks, because everyone's talking about the supply chain and, how, there's no food in the stores and everything, but it was wall to wall trucks all the way there. And then I started watching and seeing what kind of trucks are these? I'm trying to see if there were, for the food supply chain or what they were. But I'd have to say half of them were the prime trucks for Amazon. What does that tell you guys?
Yeah, those guys are cleaning up. Can you imagine? I don't even want to go shopping. That's the only thing I can do anymore without showing a pass or whatever. I don't even want to go out because somebody might harass me about wearing a mask, which I'm not going to do. So I often avoid it. And so everybody's doing the same thing. They're online buying things if they need them, or even if they don't need them, and having them sent to the house. I mean, nobody wants to go out or they can't.
Right.
It's so interesting, isn't it, ladies, that some habits are so hard to break. So I've had this conversation with quite a lot of my friends, what I call face-to-face friends and Zoom friends, which are becoming more and more the Zoom friends, actually. And even the people who are talking about, and aware of things that we're all aware of, it's still very difficult for people to break the habit from buying from there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it really is. How are things with you in the UK, Catherine, with the products and stuff like that, or in the stores?
Touch wood. I mean, I'm a bit of a country bumpkin, and I don't get out. We really only buy food for ourselves and the animals. And as you can see, because normally on every video I'm wearing the same top, I don't go out and buy clothes much. But pretty good in the supermarkets, touch wood, so far. Much to my husband's delight, because of course I've been going on about stocking up for ages, and he's like, ha ha ha. But anyway, I've still got. He's going to realise that the only one I haven't got food for is if we run out is him, because the guinea pigs, dogs and horses will be fine. But the stores are generally pretty good at the moment. But in terms of how things are in general, it's really mixed, because all the news is getting out that UK are leading the way and dropping everything. And they are, but they are still very much pushing the everywhere at the moment, although I'm sure Janine's cards will tell us what's coming and when there. But there's a lot of misdirected sort of energy in terms of about who's attended what party and everything, and some hysterical videos coming out where politicians are dropping themselves in it so much it has to be a setup. But generally speaking, things are really improving in the UK. But I don't think we're quite out of the woods as sort of a lot of the news is pretending or spreading that, you know, I'm getting people from Australia hearing, oh, I heard they've dropped it all, and no, they haven't yet, but it's definitely getting better.
Yep.
Yeah, so here's a financial tip for anybody. If you want to make money, sell things online, and the trucks will bring. You'll be able to make some money at home. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so Catherine, if you want to ask Janine a question and start it off, please do.
Oh, what a treat I get to ask. Right, I can actually ask some of my questions tonight, Janine, instead of the others. So I'm noticing lots of lovely people from the UK who are joining us on the chat. So hi, everyone from the UK. So let's ask a UK question to kick us off. Let's ask, are we going to see the completely stop? So they've stopped the passports, but are they going to stop pushing that very soon?
Yeah.
You guys knew I was in jail, YouTube jail for a week. I just got out of it, thank goodness, on my Sending Ravens, because I sent around that notice from that Mark fellow. I'll just say that, who's in the UK trying to shut that down with the help of, you know, regular folks and the police force. So that's why I got put in jail. So that's interesting. They really don't want that news out, hey?
They really, really don't.
Yeah, I was wondering why you were put in jail. I'm glad you clarified that. Thank you.
Yeah, it was literally a 4-minute, and it was just, I just played it while I was listening to it, and it got shut down within minutes. So they're all over that guy.
Oh my goodness, I've just seen something that's of real interest, Janine, but I won't interrupt the question.
Which one? I could always star it, or you could star it, I think.
I can't. It doesn't let us as guests. Samantha Smith?
Samantha Smith?
605. Have you heard of Jeanette Archer getting this?
Here we go. It's on the screen now.
No. Seriously? Unbelievable. Just for calling people out and telling the truth. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. So we've got the Page of Pentacles. So this is what was put out there. So the news, of course, that the UK was taking eventually all the things away, right? And that's great and everything. So we've got this 6. Okay, the 6 of Pentacles. And we've got the 5. So it looks like with all these minor arcanas, they were trying to divert. By doing that, there was a whole reason why they were doing that. They wanted to divert your attention away from. So it was like, we're going to throw you something. This guy, he's throwing a few coins at poor people here. Okay, so the government thought they were up. They got up against a wall on some things. Yeah. Right? And they just threw you a coin. Okay, but don't forget that apparently something else got sleazily passed while that was all happening. Some nasty thing got passed. Now, the good news is, so we've got this Ace of Cups. The good news is I feel like a lot of this is coming in the next month, where you'll see it's all happened in the next month. It's going to take a little time because these are both careful and slow. But I feel like the whole thing that how the government did that, and then they let it slide, that this law got passed that takes more of your rights away down the road. Isn't that how it works? Mm-hmm. Okay, I feel like all of that's going to get stepped back. I feel like that's part of the movie. I know people are sick of me saying that, but it's true. That's what I get, part of the movie. And that within the next month, I think our whole world has got to the place where none of this flies. That Ace of Cups says we're rebirthing the world in the next month, you guys. And that doesn't mean it'll be perfect. And that doesn't mean there's still a lot to do. And everything we're doing is exactly what we're meant to be doing. Truckers are meant to be doing what they're doing. We're meant to wake up the sleeping giant of the trucking industry. That really helped in the Australian situation. It sort of started things off, even though it didn't go to where they wanted it to go. Like everything that's happening is meant to happen. That Mark guy, he's doing great work. Like all of this, the humans are meant to wake up and do what they need to do. We're not going to be saved, but at the same time, there's stuff going on in the background that's going to really surprise people to the good.
Well, that makes perfect sense to me, Janine and Janine, because the way people are standing up over here, there's a lot of people, and I love the way Janine, turn the page for Janine. What can I call you? I love the way.
Okay, I've been called Janine number 2. She's number 1.
Janine number 2. I love the way you and your moderators keep everything so positive in the chat and everything. And I'm seeing a lot of people in the UK, a lot of people who've been talking out about this. Everyone. And I'm absolutely not saying just people have platforms and things. There's so many people at ground level, but they're all really doing positive things now. So we've had amazing protests, but with a very positive spin to them. It's like a real take action and get on with it now. So I'm pretty pleased with how the UK people are behaving, and a lot of them at the moment.
Yeah. I saw the protest videos from all over the world, and even Calgary's. Ashley went to the Calgary protest, and it was bigger than usual.
Yes.
It was definitely, she was thinking 10,000 anyway. And that's pretty good for this town. But yeah, I saw the videos everywhere, and it was incredible all over the world.
Yes, all these people in the chat must be your followers, Catherine. It's the UK and England. The British are coming. The British are coming.
I do recognise a lot of names. I must say it's a really good time for us when you're screening this, because it's 6 o'clock in the evening. A lot of people, when they've come home from work, can actually watch. So I think it's quite a good time for us Brits, and they want to see the two Janines together. That's for sure. So
yes. Well, Janine, it does have to be number 1 because she's just only a couple months older than me. So, I have my big 60th coming up in March.
Woohoo!
Cool party.
Yes.
Yeah.
It definitely is going to be a party. I'd like to ask a question this morning. I was on, and someone asked me to ask about the election results in the States here. If you see, and I know this is kind of vague, but do you see the results coming out soon?
The actual results, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody keep visualizing that, because this card's about truth and integrity and vision and desire. So it's our desire to find out what really truly happened. But this card was first. This was in the first line, which is there's a couple of things they want to happen first or need to happen first. So they got to get a couple of things out of the way first. I don't know exactly what those things are, but just a wild guess. I don't know why, but I think they want certain things in place before that information comes out. So it's saying surrender to these things have to happen first. Some things we know it's long and drawn out, but there's a couple of different things to come out first, and then that information comes out. So it's not that it won't come out, it's that it's a timing thing.
Okay. Yeah. There's always, when I hear stuff like that, I always think that, it's like you said, it's almost like chess moves. They do something, we do something. And that's why they can't ever, really specifically say, something is coming out. But at least you got that information, Janine. They're giving you more, you're channeling more and more. We're getting closer is what I'm trying to say.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Catherine, if you have another question.
Okay, I've been looking through the chat, so I'm trying to pick out some good ones from the chat. Now, I've got my Thunderbirds a Go green top on today. Just send the message out there. Come on, go, go, go. So a question that we have from Steve in the chat. how can I phrase this? It's the 4th day. There was a time scale a year after the certain events last year when everything was meant to be able to be publicly put into, it was meant to be able to make public that we were under the USA were under military control. So it's the 4th day has passed and still no public news on that. Can we post the cards? What's happening there, please? Because I'm a Thunderbirds a go.
This is what I will do for anyone in the chat right now. If you please put a Q for question in front, that way I could flag it and line these up. For Janine, we'll take a few questions. Janine, is that okay with you?
Yep.
Okay, so please use a Q in front. Go ahead.
So everything's go with that. That's a beautiful card, the world. So they've got to this place that they were wanting to get to. But this card here says, so they're choosing what to do next and how to go about it. So that card's they're following. And this card's really interesting because it's in the moment. And this guy's kind of wishy-washy. He'll move exactly like he moves on a dime. So he's not very predictable. Like the Knight of Pentacles is really predictable. This guy's not predictable. Okay. And it's saying, again, so you are free, and your the government that is the pretendency government isn't real. So you are actually free, and that will happen. All of that will happen. It's just not known mostly to the general public. So what you know to be true is true, according to my cards here. But there's some big thing again that has to happen first. And what I get when I look at it in more detail is I think they got to have that financial crash while Mr. B still seems to be in charge. So they got the pretendency situation going on. Of course, we know there's nothing really happening normal at the White House. Nothing that, like, it doesn't make any sense. And they haven't, I don't even think even any of those actors set foot in there, I'm telling you, that pretend to be Mr. B. So I think that has to crash first. So there's this time frame. And this is what I've been getting. So the financial thing has to crash, then steps out of the shadows. Let me look here. I got it. No, I'm not finding it here. But they're going to step out of the shadows, the military. So the shadow government, which is, I think, the military, certainly in the U.S., and likely what we call the Alliance or the White Hats all over the world. So then they get to step forward, but they got to let that financial situation go down on Mr. B's watch. That's why I think there's where the snag is. So I'm not sure how, fast things will go after that. But whenever I look at it, it looks like it's literally hours away from each other, all the other things. So it'll all go at once. Like it's just the domino that one has to fall, and then everything goes down and everything comes, tumbling out. That's the way I get it anyway.
If you guys want, I want to show you this video of big boxes are being wheeled into the White House. So let's take a look here. And I guess there is a question. They want to know what is going on. Janine, if I could show this to you, and
sure.
Let's see what we can see here. Let me blow it up just a little bit more. I think that's pretty good. Oh yeah, I could definitely see that here. I'll start it over also. Can you see this okay, you guys?
Yeah, I can now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm starting to, do you see? I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. Do you see this?
Okay, yeah, I see it.
I'm actually going to try to blow it up one more. I'll show it twice here.
Wow.
They don't look like they're very heavy the way they're carrying them, do they?
No, it almost looks like they were pictures or something.
If they were heavy, they wouldn't quite be so
They look like screens to me.
Yeah.
They look like screens that they're going to show something on or do something with.
So this, at the top here, says January 24th, and then at 10:29 a.m., which was about 2 hours ago here. So this goes on for like 3 minutes, but they look like they're waiting to get inside there.
Mm.
Let me just see if I can fast forward this.
Wow.
No, they're just standing there. So a couple people moving around, guys coming in there. So let me stop that and see what Janine gets.
So we've got the Two of Wands here. So this is safely looking at something and going from a safe position to another position, but it's a safe movement. And this is interesting here. We've got the Chariot. So the Chariot. So they're moving something. Chariot moves things too, but there's something of a recklessness to the Chariot. He can also be brazen. He's reckless. He's very much a military type minded energy. Okay, so something could be moved in there by the military in a way, or it could be for military safety, or it has the safety of the humans. Somehow there's a sense of keeping people safe or keeping something safe. Let's keep looking here. So we've got, and it has something to do with the whole situation of getting everybody to a place of freedom, sovereign place, a place of freedom. Okay, so it's something that's been held up. You just don't know that you're a free nation. I got a feeling it has something to do with the U.S. has been freed, if that makes any sense. And those felt to me like screens. But let's ask literally what were they? So it looks like it's part of the whole background situation that's going on.
There is a little bit more at the end that they're actually showing a helicopter landing on the White House. Do you want to see that?
Yeah, sure. It's coming from the good guys because I asked who's in charge of that operation. And it has something to do with the legal situation that's going on in the U.S. I think legally who's running the U.S. or legally what's actually happening. Maybe it's the fact that it's a republic. I don't know.
So they've got people on the top of the roofs, which you don't normally see because it's been empty. But here comes a helicopter.
But who's taking this video? Because whoever it is looks like they're high up. How can they possibly see this all over all the walls and everything? Because they wouldn't be allowed to put a drone up that close, would they?
I have no idea. That's a great question.
They gotta be using some really good cameras. Okay, I'm going to ask about those things they were actually carrying. Basically what that was saying was it's all part of the white hat op that's going on. So it's all to do with getting the U.S. to be, it already is free, but letting everybody in on it. So let's have a look.
Someone, Eve is saying this is the TGE Live Earth Cam. I don't know what that is, but she does. Someone else is saying that they're across the street with a zoom camera.
Oh boy, isn't this interesting? So that feels like we're going to see, it's something they're using for a creative production of some kind. So we've got this ACE, creativity, and it'll take time to see it. So they're planting the seeds to show you a creative project. I think it's screens. I think for some reason that they're going to, show things on there. I wonder if they're going to have people go through the White House as part of the disclosure and have things set up all over and have people watching possibly those tribunals that have been going on. This is what I was getting. There's definitely things going on in the White House. Maybe they've filmed people's confessions. We got Phil saying that. We got other people saying that. I've been getting that could be a possibility. I wonder if they're going to show everybody things on screen, or they're using those as part of the production to get it all out there to the public eventually. Because it seems to all go along with showing people what's really happening eventually down the road in a safe way. And there's something to do with creative production here with the actual physical black things. So I think they're screens.
Yeah. Catherine, can you see the questions on the side there that I starred, or no? Is that just only that I can see?
No, I can't see the one. Oh, hang on. Oh, I've never seen that one before. I can now. Start. I didn't know that existed. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so what I did is I took when I asked everyone to put a Q in front, and then I could sort them out, and then if you wanted to ask any of those or just ask your own, it's up to you. There's quite a few questions, but we can't do them all, everyone. I totally apologize for that, but we'll try to get through as many as we can. And go ahead.
Sorry, the delay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm going to ask this one because I saw it come up multiple times, and I don't think it's just relevant to the UK because we've always been told this is a major marker. And I know Phil, that Janine and I always talk about, Phil G, says all the markers have been passed, but we've always had that Queenie is one of the markers. Now it's coming up to her platinum jubilee. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the smell if they really wheeled her out? But are we going to have some announcement about her before her jubilee? Because that's come up a lot.
Yeah, I saw that come up a few times. If people are asking that multiple times, we're all picking up on something. So
yeah.
So again, we got this strategy card. Remember that swords in tarot are thoughts and words, but it could also be about the public getting information. Of course, we know both sides have been very strategic with the information, right? And this guy changes things up. So I think that might have, like, they had the plan to do it at a certain time, then they stepped it back. That might even be why Phil's getting that all the markers already went. Do you know what I mean? But when I looked at it, I got Betty White as a marker, but he didn't get it as a marker. So this is interesting. So this is like they're moving around the markers, okay? And then this card here. So that's our deep state dark cult card, especially if it's badly aspected, which it is. And we're talking about these kind of topics because normally this is not a bad card. It could be a really powerful card, but it's also can be very controlling and dominating and in charge of everything in a bad way with this card. Okay, so they've been depending on what the bad guys have been up to and or their last little tricks that they've been, I think they've had to change things around. So that's why I think she's still with us supposedly, right? So I think and this is a patience card. It feels like they got other things, so they're going in a different direction. So I feel like they're playing that by ear with that 7 card, that 7 of swords. They're playing it by ear. They're being patient and watchful and careful with when they let that one fly. So this is, I'm feeling like they're waiting on some other things as well. So it's not being specific. It doesn't have a definitive time. So they haven't decided that yet. I think they check in with that and they're going to use it to their advantage. But for some reason, they step back from their original timing on it. That's what I'm getting.
Fantastic. How are you doing on asking the questions, Janine? I know that it takes a lot of energy, so I don't want.
No, it's great.
Okay, good.
We need to get to these. Like we need. These are. It sounds confusing, but we're in very confusing times. Yes. And it feels like there's a lot of things that have changed. I feel that, but I don't get it as a bad thing. I think we're ramping up, and it's when it goes, it's going down. And I don't feel when I look into it, it feels I'm calm about it, but they might have moved a few things around because it wasn't going to work. And remember that part, as far as I'm concerned anyway, you know, I don't know if you buy this or not, but that part's such a part of the movie, right? Because that would just be false anyway. So like they can throw that one out there whenever. It's fairly common knowledge in the truther world that she's long gone. So it's like they're just using that. Yeah. So they might have moved that goalpost several times here.
Yeah, I'm sure that they have. let's see here. There is a question here that I was also interested in. What is happening with the New World Order with that right now? We've seen, what was his name? There was a video out released. I can't remember his name. Schwab or something like that.
Klaus. Yeah.
Thank you. So I guess he was basically saying that, they have to put us minions in our place, right? They're basically, planning on still controlling us. But is this a good enough question to ask? What is happening with the New World Order? Is it detailed enough, or do you need more specific question?
Well, we could say, where do they sit with that? Like, do they have any clout left?
Yeah.
Is that something that we have to worry about? What do we need to know about that? Because obviously, if it was still a functioning thing, we're toast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what I question is how blunt he was coming out with the information that I was thinking that were the white hats behind that video.
How recent was it? Because I got he's been rounded up some months ago, just before Christmas.
Okay, so it probably was a CGI then, what they were doing just to show you.
Yeah.
I want to say it was at least a couple of weeks. That video might be a couple of weeks old.
Seems to me they've been throwing quite a few things in everybody's face, so obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the past. So there was a lot of fighting obviously going on in the past around that, and that's like sort of the war we've been in.
Yeah.
This is the now. This is us and them. Us and them. So they're all, I don't want to say alarming words here on YouTube, so I'll say they're all this.
Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't look too good. We're this. This is the best card in the deck. We're in fine shape. They're completely annihilated, let's say. Okay, hopefully we can say that. Now, this is in the middle. Okay, so this is like a 9, like in a tarot. We're so close to the end here. That's like, we've been through the battle. We're weary, but yeah, we're so close to the end. That's the 11th hour kind of card. And then this card here. They've completely stepped back, all of that stuff. So, I think a lot of it comes out and we still get people talking about it because we never want to be in that kind of position again. And there's a lot of fearful videos out there describing that we're still going to be there. And some people that didn't get the memo that there might be people working on the behalf of humans that did step back a lot of this. Not that we're being saved, but we're definitely got a lot of help in the background. We could never do this ourselves. We wouldn't even knew about a lot of this. Just a tiny few people on the planet would have known about it. If it wasn't for the certain 17th letter of the alphabet drops. You know what I mean? That started a lot of people checking into this. Otherwise, we'd still be just ignoring the things that people have been, like big old time truthers have been talking about since the beginning of, since the 60s and 70s. We've had a few pockets of people who knew all this stuff, but nobody was listening to them. And finally, they broke through with the 17th letter of the alphabet info. And then a whole lot of us figured out, okay, this is real. Mm-hmm. Like the David Ikes and the guy's been right about everything practically. Maybe not every single thing, but a whole lot of it, right? And these people that have been speaking out, but people got used to just ignoring them because the mainstream media, of course, made them into, tin hat wearers and just put them in a category. That's what they do.
I was just thinking, can you imagine how insulting it would be to be asked to, if it's doubles or actors playing these people, imagine being asked to play the part of Klaus Schwab. I mean, how insulting would that be that you look like him? Does make me chuckle a lot. Yeah. So, oh my goodness. So
I've got a good question. I've been wanting to ask this, so I saved it for this round table. I haven't asked this on my own time yet. Who is funding? So there's a big movie going on, and if it's true, if that's true, okay, a lot of money must be being spent. I mean, just think about all the production that must be going on. If even half of it's true that we're getting, okay, who's funding all of that? What the heck? Where's all the money coming from? I mean, we know that the bad guys had a whole lot of hoarded money, and they didn't care about spending it because they were taking us out anyway. So they'd have a lot less to worry about in the human race, and the rest of us would just be their little minions, even more so than we already were. Okay, so those guys had a lot of money. They just hoard money. That's what they do. Okay, but where's the money coming from on the white hat side? Because that operation's very expensive. Do you guys mind if I ask that?
Nope. That's a great question.
Ooh, interesting. So it seems to be coming from the end of and the passing over of, and or the putting an end to the bad guys, because this is the passing over card. This is the ending. So when they get taken out or processed, their money becomes available. So the abundance that was hoarded from humans contributing, from our offspring contributing, unfortunately. Remember what they do with this is like the party substance. Okay, so a whole lot of money was being collected and or generated through that disgusting thing that they were doing, right? They were, because all of Hollywood was hooked on that. All the elites are hooked on that. So that's a big income, right? There was even like a really interesting couple of things where they showed that really clear, even a couple of years ago. This is where I really believe the British royals were capitulated entirely some years ago, because about 2 or 3 years ago, right at the beginning of the first lockdowns, they showed this video clip. It was the Queen's speech at Christmas, but it was a couple of years, 3 maybe years ago. And there's even a clip in it where Prince William is standing, just a quick clip, and he's standing in front of some kind of cargo airplane, and all of this cargo is going into it, and it looks like he's overseeing it. But when you look really close, it signals to what we now know, a company all over the cargo that is been now called out to be one that would move that substance around. Okay, so they show that in the video clip, and there was a whole bunch of comms in that video clip too. That time the Queen, it was when Prince Harry and Meghan were just married, and they had their first baby, and everyone was looking for the picture on the and all of that. Turns out that's a huge psyop. Like the whole thing. I don't even know if they were ever really together for any length of time. Like, I'm sorry, but everything about those two is a lie. So, this movie's been going on for a really long time, longer than we know. Okay, that's why they call it the greatest movie ever, and all that, all the stuff they say about it. Yeah.
See what happens when you stop taking the party drug? You just age. That's Betty White.
Yeah. Wow.
She really aged towards the end there, because for the longest time she looked like 50, 60 years old.
Yeah.
I must be the only person on the planet that never heard of her. Didn't know who she was. So
really?
Yeah, I've never heard of Betty White. Yeah, that's a bit weird.
Wow, that is interesting.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry, I haven't come out of the closet and admitted that before, but when everything was going on about her, I was like, who the hell is this woman? I have no idea.
Yeah, a big actress, yeah.
I'm not particularly inclined to look her up much, so yeah.
Yeah.
I must just say to everyone, because I'm seeing quite a few comments going by, Janine, number one, and myself, we can't respond to any of the comments in there. We can't type them in. That StreamYard doesn't allow you to do that. So don't think we're ignoring you. So
Yeah,
I can't even see them.
if there's a question, Catherine, that you want me to highlight, I could always put that on the screen, something like this. Megan's also a man, so where do these kids come from? Who's the mom?
They're all of the cult families. I even did this is before I even knew any of that. I did a reading on Catherine, so Duchess Catherine's children. And I thought they were hers. Okay, and we looked at every single one. None of them are hers. And then you start looking at the markers for transgender children from birth, like for the markers for it. She's got them all, you guys. She's got them all. So there's answers the question, how could she be out on those steps moments after her giving birth practically? Okay, because I know both my kids, even though my son was a fairly uncomplicated, even though I was in my 40s birth, I would have never been able to put on some heels and get out in front of anybody even 5 days after.
Yeah.
Come on. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, no wonder she doesn't gain a pound, because she's got the, inner bone skeletal structure of a male. Like, and people hate hearing that, but it's like, guess what?
Like Jennifer Aniston is straight as a board. Yeah. Straight as a board. Well, and has white children.
It's so, I've got to be worried. I won't flash my boobs on camera, but when everyone's going on about all these people having certain figures, now I'm not saying I've got a figure like Jennifer Aniston, but I have got very slim hip, and what you would call more of a boyish figure, but I have got boobs, everyone. But I do get a little bit worried, thinking, but I haven't looked. I look at the angle. I don't have an Adam's apple. No. But you know what I mean. I do know a lot of people that do have boyish figures. As well,
it is more than that, though. No, it's more. Yeah. So it's the way the legs go, right? So women sort of go in a little, and guys go straight down. And it's also the so there was an early picture of her wearing a see-through sort of dress over top. Yeah. Now, where her belly button is, and there's this sort of physique. All of the models, the Victoria's Secret models, have it too. So they're masculine bellies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a whole bunch of things. And also, so it's not just one. Like, I have huge hands, and a lot of people say, okay, well, she must be a guy because she has huge hands. Okay, but I don't have all the other markers. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you look at my back, it doesn't go straight. It goes in like a woman's. Also, so you like the breast part, that has nothing to do with it. That's all about because those can be added.
Yeah, I know.
Hormones from birth. There's all of these things they do right from the beginning to make sure they don't have an Adam's apple, and they don't. My belief is a lot of them don't even know it was done to them.
No, exactly.
Oh, wow.
And how would you know? That's the thing. If you've grown up like that, you wouldn't know, would you? Because
they do all of these things, and they do it all before a certain age. So the child would have thought they were just in the hospital for whatever their mom said they were. I mean, Michael Jackson even talks about when they did that operation to him to make his voice stay high. He thought he was in the hospital for something else for the longest time. Like they deceive these people. Like it's horrifying.
Yeah, no, it is. Your dog's adorable, Janine.
Oh, his name is Rizzo.
Oh, hello, Rizzo.
He's gorgeous.
So gorgeous.
Handsome.
Yeah, he's only a year and a half. He's one of 4.
Nice.
Lovely. Can't have too many, that's for sure. So
he likes to come on and sit on my lap when I'm on here.
Sweet.
So okay. So any other questions you want to ask, Catherine, that you're kind of curious about, or I see?
There's lots of questions going through, aren't there, Janine, about the financial system and the financial crash. Now, I'm so not a financial person, but I do know there's been a huge amounts about the crypto market in the news this week and everything. So should we ask something on the financial crash, and if what we're seeing here is the start of it?
This question here is two. It says, when will the med beds and the new financial system come out? So,
Okay. Well, we're going to look at the financial system first.
okay. You want to get down?
So it's so just hanging on by a thread. And it's the desire of at least one of these, maybe even both sides desire it too, because they both got their agendas around what they could do if it did crash. Because remember, the bad guys, so the globalists were trying to crash the financial system. They must have been, because look what they did. They locked down the whole world, didn't let anybody work hardly, put all these people out of work. So their agenda was that too, but they had a different reason for it. They wanted to do it so they could step in and take even more of your rights away and put everybody on $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month and have us all like a welfare nation of whoever was left. They were going to take a lot of people out first, though. You know what I mean? So that was the Klaus's plan. Okay, that had something to do with financial crash too. So it couldn't have survived this anyway. It's karmically going to crash, and then you got to think about. You got to think about what's happening in China, like with that lead core or whatever it's called, that company. I mean, everything the final word on that comes down on Thursday. So that would crash so many big companies, because what's known about that is they're only going to honor the bonds in China. And we know that. I mean, there's no way they're going to honor the bonds. They're going down. They're not going to. They're going to try to save themselves as much as possible, China. So it's not like they're going to just offer a helping hand to all those companies that are invested in those bonds. I'm not a financial advisor or somebody who knows about these things, but I've just been hearing. So that's bound to, and that would make sense to this. It's literally hanging on by a thread. And then the Fool. So that's something that's naturally been put into motion. So it's like imminent, literally. The Fool card is like, look at us. We're headed for the cliff. We're going off that cliff. Okay. Now, the interesting thing is this guy looks really trusting. So if you trust in the universe, and the thing about the Fool is really highly evolved people know that even if they go off the cliff, they trust that the universe will provide for them. And they'll be like, that's maybe why, Catherine, you're not afraid. I'm not. If you're a fearful person and you wrapped everything into your financial prowess and you think that's actually what you need to hang on to the most in the world, you will suffer. Okay, you will, because it will go down for everybody. Of course, it's got to go down because the whole system's corrupt. So we've got to end it, but there's reboot on the other side. There's a whole new system coming up and under, and people that trust and know that a lot of things will happen to save and help their fall. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, if you're just a really fearful person and you don't trust in the bigger universe, it's going to hurt. It'll hurt and you'll feel like a big loss. But the funny thing is, I think we'll end up better down the road, maybe months later, but we'll end up in way better shape, not worse. So this is what's so interesting about that. So yes, things will crash and things may stay crashed, some of them, and some things come out even better. Some cryptos will really survive in a big way. I think you'll find if you're into silver and gold, you're probably looking pretty. Literal silver and gold, not just on paper, right? And then, but then a whole bunch of companies are never going to reboot. That's what I think. But I think it's all on purpose. I think a lot of them are so corrupt that we need to get rid of them anyway. This is I think that's part of what the universe is going to decide for us. Who stays, who floats, who doesn't. I think the universe is stepping in. Some people want to call it God, goddess. Call it whatever. I'm calling it the Great Spirit or the universal knowing. A lot of that, and a lot of analysts who analyze this stuff, they don't take that into consideration. You know what I mean? They got all this smarts about it, but they forgot that the universe has a hand in it too. And spirit world's going to have a say in it too. If you're a good person and you have good intentions and you love yourself, you've done the work, you're not going to be devastated. We're not here to be, believe it or not, you'll rise up and even better. The meek shall inherit the earth, you guys. We're going to be okay. You just have to stay trusting, self-loving, and feel like you're worthy. Don't feel unworthy and like a victim. That'll really help, because there's stuff put in place underneath that's going to come up and help. And then the whole world is going to get adjusted. There's a lot of adjustments coming. And if you still hang on to it, you want it to be the way it was before, that's when you're going to run into trouble, because it won't be. And that's a good thing, but you got to see it that way.
Yeah.
If you want to ask another question, Catherine.
Well, the one you highlighted has come up a lot before. About the Michelle Fielding. I didn't listen. I haven't listened to the whole interview yet.
I haven't either.
Did you listen to it, Janine?
I didn't listen to it. Oh, this Janine?
Yeah. Well, either of you. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna say, nothing against anybody who's out there doing their thing, but I just don't jive with her what she gets. And that doesn't mean she might be right and I'm wrong, but we get really different views on things, and we're both channeling stuff. So, and there's lots of that happening, and we'll just have to wait and see. So, no, I didn't listen to it all, because I just don't resonate. But that doesn't mean other people don't, and that she could be dead right and I could be wrong. I mean, Nicholas Veniamin definitely appreciates her, and he dropped me off his show in a very nice, polite way, by the way, because he obviously doesn't think I'm getting it, and he thinks she is, and that's okay, and maybe she is, but I just don't see eye to eye with her information, so I don't listen to her.
And I think that's a really important point, both of you, isn't it? In terms of, the thing is, everyone on here will resonate and pick up different things. You know, when the student is ready, the messenger will come, and we'll all pick up different things. And one thing I've learned over the last few years is there's no such black and white. It's not black and white. It's certainly
totally.
As long as we're just good and kind to one another, and just raising your vibration with love, that's all that matters. And, you know, I'm constantly saying, all these trolls that are out there, you know, just don't pay any attention to them, because it's a waste of energy.
Yeah.
It really is. And you're giving your power away when you do that. And this morning I kind of snapped at one of my viewers, only because I saw something that was against one of our truthers or influencers or patriots. It doesn't matter. If you're repeating what somebody else said, you're just carrying on that negative vibration. And we're here to raise our vibration. Yeah. And I probably took it a little bit too personal. So, Cindy, I'm sorry, and I'm saying it now, wherever you're at. But it's just that after a while, you know, we want to just be in one vibration, and that is just raising it and being the best human beings that we could be at this time. Yeah.
And all of these people having different opinions or getting different things, there's always a real nugget of truth in what they're getting. So there's things she gets that nobody else has got, and she's been right. And that's why I think Nicholas Veniamin really appreciates her. And that's great. You know, like I always say, go to lots of different, like when I was reading for a clientele, people always were faithful to their reader, but I'd be like, why don't you go to another 2 or 3 other ones and go, you know what I mean? Because you could be missing on some really good information that they're bringing, you know what I mean? A perspective. And it doesn't mean they're wrong, but they're going to bring another part of it that I don't see. And then I'm bringing a part, and then somebody else is bringing another part. All of those parts fit together. So I just like casually just pick up on whatever people are saying. I knew that 30 or 40 emails would come in telling me exactly what she said anyway. That always happens. So I didn't have to take my time out. But it's not that I don't appreciate some of the stuff she brings. She absolutely does. But, you know, we don't always agree on the timelines and some details. And that's fine. Like time will tell. This is all going to sort itself out, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And excuse me. And I've been saying that all along too. Time will tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the way the energies are speeding up, we're not going to even remember.
I agree with you. That's such a good point. And also,
Yeah.
you know, so much doesn't matter. You know, I sort of got quite hung up on, well, what do you need to research about the past? And I thought, I really don't need to waste my time researching about the past. Now, some people do, and that's really important for them.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to spend my time on creating the future, and everyone will be at different stages. So I think that's really important, you know, not to compare yourself with anyone else, because if you're resonating with certain things at the moment, there's a reason why you're meant to hear it.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And you're only, like attracts like.
Yeah.
I'm looking for another question, Janine. Okay. Is the market drip the predicted market crash?
DIPPP. What's that?
Dip. Because it's
Just a dip. Oh,
yeah.
I'll do a quick just how it's going to go. So there's this one layout. It's got 7 cards, and I'll show you one after the other. So it'll be past, present, near future, hidden influence. I'll just say, because it's so hard without being able to see them, I know. So the first one's the past, and I haven't even looked at it yet. So the past. So this is interesting. That's the Empress, the past. So we've all been living maybe a bit beyond our means. That could have something to do with, or not. I mean, not everybody, but maybe the world in being general, right? Because she's very sitting pretty. Okay, so she's sitting pretty. So it's maybe individual people wouldn't feel that way. The present. Oh, this is very interesting. The present is the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so, oh my goodness, that has something that has to be. So that's the gift of a new money system. We got a whole new system, you guys. So this is really interesting, the past and the present. I'm going to just be honest with you, and I'll keep looking at these in just a minute, but these two together is really interesting. I've been saying this for at least a year. Whenever anyone asks about the finances, I always get, we're going to be better off by this time next year, not worse. So there's doom and gloom, and it's going to take 15 years to recoup. And, you know, I don't get that. I get we're headed towards, and this kind of tells me that we're in better shape with those 2 cards. They're brilliant. Readers, chime in. Look at those cards. There's something happening, a gift already. We're getting the gift of not only freedom in the next year from a tyrant and or global agenda that was going to imprison us even more than we already were, but we're going to get freed from, I think, illegal taxes. And some taxes will still exist, but I think the illegal part of it, and not going to the Fed anymore, which isn't federal, by the way, not going to, like, actually most people's taxes was all going to, by the way, the British Royals. How do you like that, right?
Yeah.
When you traced it back, that's who got it. How do you like that for all the countries, not just UK and stuff? Yeah, so crazy. But anyway, so we're getting freed from that. We got a new system that's gold backed, I believe, at 100%. And so it's going the past, the present. We don't even know how rich we are yet. And the near future, the Wheel of Fortune. It's going to be way different than people think. So everybody's expecting this big. So the drama's coming right away here, you guys. So we're imminent with it. It's days, hours. And there's the hidden influence, the hidden influence. Some people had to lose everything, though, for this to happen. Guess who that is?
Yeah.
The dark cult, the bad guys. Okay, they're losing everything. So here's what to remember. These two are advice. Surrender to the 8 of Pentacles. If you're a good person, this guy's really good. He works hard, and you're not going to lose a beat. This guy always gets, if he puts the work in, he gets. I think we're going to get back. So if you physically lose dollars that are no longer viable anymore, there's going to be a replacement for them. That's what I get. That says this guy always makes money from if he puts the work in. If you put the work in, had the savings, eventually you're going to end up with, and the surrender card might be saying surrender to, it might look different or it might be a pain in the butt for 10 days or something. And that's always what I get. Like the banks might close, some of them might shut down. Some of them aren't on board with the new system, so they aren't going to honor it. They're going to go by the wayside. But everything eventually gets sorted out. People get the money that and this is an 80% card, so we may not have it exactly to the exact amount, but I think the whole world's so different that it's way more spendable, let's say, or you don't have the inflation, the taxes, and the interest. I believe what Phil said about that. I just got a really good feeling about it and did a reading on it after he did that whole thing where he described Jacera Nasara, sort of the version of it that's going to happen. And it was basically saying any kind of interest you've been paying for years on, say, mortgages and credit cards, etc., that comes back to you. Not the initial price of the house that you bought, but the interest you paid. With all of that taken into consideration, it kind of works out in the wash. So if your dollar isn't worth, like, you don't have exactly the amount that you used to have in the bank because the notes are worth something different, or whatever, however that sorts out, it's all going to sort out in the wash is what I'm getting by these other ways. And I've been hearing weird things. Okay, I'll just tell a personal story about a friend. Okay, I'll just call them a friend. Somebody I know really good. So I got it on good authority, okay? Told me this story just 4 days ago. Okay, so they had to declare bankruptcy. So bankruptcy in Canada, well, in Alberta, is, I don't know all the details, but this person owed every month thousands, at least $2,000 a month, okay, towards their bankruptcy fees. So it kept them. So they kept working. They weren't allowed any credit for years until they paid this off, and they had to pay thousands a month. So it was like just almost like consolidating their debt, and they're still in the hole, and they can't dig themselves out of the hole. So anyway, long story short, a blessing came along, and this person paid off, from the help of someone, paid off their bankruptcy fees early so they could maybe eventually buy a house. So they wanted to speed up buying a house. Okay, then, so they paid it off. That was $14,000 in Canadian money. Then a check came in the mail from the bankruptcy, which is bankruptcy, if you look into the laws of it, is about the most illegal, corrupt thing ever in the universe. It is absolute highway robbery. Anyway, so she got paid back not only the amount she paid off, but they said, oh, you've overpaid over the years. So they gave her about $15,000 back. How weird is that? So if you work it out, it's probably the interest. Some companies are already jumping the gun, and we've heard this from several reports. They're jumping the gun. They haven't been told officially they're going to have to do it, but they're already starting to, and they're making the excuse that people have overpaid. This has been happening to quite a few viewers, not everybody. And I think eventually, so before you write in the comments, well, I haven't got any money back, I think it trickles down over the next couple of years where everybody's going to get interest payments back. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, this is a huge financial system that they're going to be putting in place. And I sure hope it happens really soon, because it's my husband thinks I'm nuts.
According to this, it already happened. So in the background with that ace, this is the now card. It already happened, you guys. Something's already in place. I've been getting that nonstop. So it's just a matter of time when everything gets revealed. Like it's hard to be patient, but the best way to deal with it if you're feeling impatient is just already believe it's already happening.
Yeah.
It won't hurt to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like fake it till you make it, I call it. Feel like you already are wealthy. Don't even stop worrying about it. Already feel like, tell the universe every single day that you're thankful for how comfortable you are. Find out, even if you're not yet, fake it till you make it. Because I've been down to my last dollar, and that's the best way to get myself to recreate myself and have it flowing again. I get in the flow already as if it's already coming. And I actually talk about it as if it is, then it becomes. We create our destiny with our words, thoughts, and intentions. So be there already, man.
Yeah, definitely. I've used that theory for many, many years. Fake it till you make it, and you're basically manifesting is what you're
Yeah.
doing on another level. If you don't know that, you do now. But one thing I have a question about as far as like the, okay, so we are basically learning from various influencers, truthers, people that know things about the financial system. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how to ask this is that once we get into this new financial system, who's going to be the people that actually come out and start to try to educate us? Because we're not, all those other financial people are going to go away, right? So they must be working on putting new people in place to at least start to explain. I sure hope that they explain, what's happening, where we were, where we're at now, and where we're going with this. It just can't be coming from someone like myself because I know nothing about anything, to be honest with you. I'm an expert in computer systems. That's my background for the last 30 years. But who are they going to give this information to help educate everybody?
Okay, so a big yes, because a part of what you were asking was, well, they've got to have
A plan.
a plan. And as you were saying that, I pulled my first card and it was yes, they do have a plan. Okay, but what has to happen first is they got to educate people about the past and how we got ourselves into this in the first place. So they're going to have to educate about the, mobster bankers, how they tricked all the countries into doing this Federal Reserve debt and or the kind of dollar that's sort of the most common, the US dollar. But everyone relates all of their money systems and or goes up against that US dollar. I mean, so all of that was created in a fraudulent way against human rights, really. Okay. The whole idea of the way they collect debt and the way they get everybody in debt. It's criminal. It's literally criminal. And I'm not saying you shouldn't pay for things a fair price. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's the way they do the whole debt system. It's created for you to fail and for you to forever be literally enslaved to the debt. Okay, so that was a conscious, they made that effort and they did a really great job and they created that all over the world. Okay, they took years to create, and so they always come out on top. They fund, so these banker families, they fund both sides of every war. They start wars when they need to generate, different countries need to generate income. Like all of it's against us and lies, right? So all of that has to come out first. And then it looks like they have all kinds of information ready to go and people ready to talk about it. Okay, so this guy's an expert in things like that, really well educated. So it can't just be one person, it could be a whole lot of them. But it looks like they have all kinds of information they're going to circulate. So they got that. I don't think it'll be perfect. I think a lot of us will be just sharing the information, doing our homework and research. Whole armies of people out there sharing like we have been in the truther community. But they do seem to have some kind of a plan here where they're going to put a lot of information out there. It'll probably be up to people to read the information and look through it, educate themselves, because people just can't have things handed to them. That's what got us into this trouble. We just let everybody tell us how things were, never looked into it. It's like my parents never questioning their doctors. Like both my parents have had really interesting health issues over the years and been badly managed, but they always make excuses for their doctors because the doctor is like... they created that most normal people wouldn't give 2 minutes for a naturopath who is probably far more wise than their doctor. Right? Most doctors I've ever gone to, and it would only be in a huge emergency, like where there nothing else could work. You know what I mean? Or were completely useless, and that's the truth. That is the truth. I'm sorry, and I'm sure there's been some good experiences out there, and there could be even some good doctors out there, but not that I've ever met. Maybe 1 or 2. I got it. Maybe 2. So that's how crazy it is out there. And then the stories about what's been happening in the hospitals and everything. So first they're going to have to educate everybody about the past and how we got ourselves into this. And then it'll be a lot easier to educate people, to get them up to speed. So there's going to be a lot of education needed, and people will have to do their research.
Yeah, definitely. How are we doing on time, ladies?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay for a little bit.
Yep. A few more minutes. Yep. Couple more questions, maybe.
Okay.
Like 2.
Okay, good. Catherine, you're up.
Well, I was going to say the one you've got, I've seen a lot of people asking the one that you've got on the board about California becoming the new Grand Canyon due to the removal of the tunnels. So I haven't personally seen a lot about this because I've seen this been doing the rounds for the last couple of years. So I think what's going to happen with California, is it going to be sunk?
Wow.
I had Gene Decode on here last week, and he could not say as much as he normally has in the past about the tunnels. So something's going on there. He talked a lot more about his personal self, which was good because a lot of people didn't know what he shared. But I'm just wondering, why is it, mum's the word all of a sudden with a lot of the people that have been speaking lately, and with the California and the tunnels and all that. I have never even heard of, because like you said, Catherine, a lot of people are asking about California becoming the new Grand Canyon. When did this even come out? I didn't even hear about this.
Yeah, I haven't either. That's wild. But this is interesting. It's saying that this is very quickly all going to be clarified. So there's all kinds of information. So even though he couldn't talk about it really soon, he will be able to, or a lot of people will be talking about it, because this clarifies information. But very up until then, so that was the past, it's been hush hush. So that's all about to change, which leads me to believe, and then these 2 cards, which are very, like, all of a sudden, so this is a gateway breakthrough card. So there's huge breakthroughs coming with information and brings us into all new territory about this stuff. But even my cards aren't really answering the question. They're just saying, we're going to find out about that soon enough. So it's a great question, but it's almost ready to come out, but we're still getting the block on it as far as literal answer to the question. So that's interesting. So it looks like they're about to have a big, because this is the gateway card, so breakthrough. There's going to be a breakthrough where that becomes known to everybody, why that is, if that's going to happen, that kind of thing. So these guys must be ahead of the curve with their info, even having that question. But I think there's something to it with the kind of cards that are showing up here, but it's not quite ready to describe it. It says we're going to know about that really soon, and I think they're onto something, what they said there. But it's going to be a breakthrough for humanity, so it's to the good, because these are the outcome cards. And everything will look, so this is all new territory, so it's going to look totally different than it looks now. All new territory. But it's a breakthrough for humanity, so it's a good thing. So maybe they're going to shift that energy from the area for good.
Okay, well, I think I'm done asking most of the questions here. Like I mentioned to everyone, we try to get through as many as we could. But Catherine, if you have anything specific for the UK, please ask away.
Oh, there was a question on the chat, which I thought was a lovely one to end with, by SJS, whoever that is. But he said, how does Mother Gaia feel right now?
Ooh.
About that. And I thought that was a really lovely question.
And I like this Ricardo Boise one here too in the print.
Mm.
I'll get to that one after this.
Oh yes, please do. I want to know that.
Another guy. Haha, interesting. She's looking forward to a situation. Interesting that this card came up, but now it's well aspected. So she's looking forward to more. So that's organized chaos. So that's interesting. This card's organized chaos, but it's also about a higher knowing. Okay, so this guy, when he's well aspected, so let's not think about him like dark cult, because I know he's been coming up a lot as the dark cult. This is the Hierophant. And I'll just talk about this guy because he's a very complicated card. And he's actually, all my numerology, 3/4 of my numbers come to 5s. So I relate to this guy. He's one of my archetypes, they say. Okay, so when he's well aspected, but he's tricky because he can badly aspect really easily. So a good Hierophant is somebody who's what they call the visual and or the audio version of, and or someone who channels God or goddess and or the great universe. Okay, so that's why they drew him in the time frame that they drew these. They made him a pope because the highest spiritual channeler back in those days would have been thought of to be the pope. Now we know that's not true anymore. We know that the popes were likely all bad. I know that for sure. Okay, but the drawing still depicts a highly spiritual, that's what it's trying to show you, channeler. So this guy channels and or he brings to earth for the regular folks. Okay, these are regular folks. He explains to them how the universe works by channeling it so they can understand the mind of God, goddess, and or otherwise known as the great universe. Okay, so however you want to call it. Okay, so that would be the good version, someone who channels from the universe and brings it into regular language, which makes a lot of sense to what I've been doing my whole life. Okay, because when I do channel it, to me, it doesn't come from a certain entity. It comes from universal knowing, which we can all tap to, by the way. That's not just for one person, but I just happen to have a good antenna, hopefully, right? That's what I'm counting on, that I have a good antenna. So this is someone who does that. They explain to others what's going on spiritually, and they bring it into layman terms. Okay, so that would be the good version of that guy. And this is the three of wands. So Gaia is looking forward, because this card looks forward to when things are explained and you understand the spirit world better, because I think we've been misled about the spirit world. So Gaia is looking forward to us knowing how it really works and how the spirit world and or God, goddess, what really it is like, and not what we've been told, because we've been lied to about everything. Okay, so that's what I get. And then also Gaia is excited about balance, the balance of the masculine, feminine, because we've been out of balance for a really long time. And we know that this time, so the age of Aquarius, is a big balancing of the divine feminine. Okay, so she's excited about that coming into balance, because we know that the powers that be, that we call the dark cult, and we know there's other words for them, but we can't say them. Those powers do everything to stamp out, erase, and or diffuse or totally put down the feminine. Think about it. Everything they do, they're trying to keep you away from the knowledge of the compassionate feminine inside everybody, by the way, not just women, men and women. They're trying to take it right out of your consciousness by downplaying the importance of a natural mother, by downplaying compassion, the way they treat their own kids, SRA to their own kids, and what they do to other people. Like, you can't be a compassionate natural mother and be like that to your kids. So that's why they stamp that out of you. They don't want any of that, none of those natural bonds. They like the unnatural, and they reverse everything to be unnatural. So she's looking forward. Guy is looking forward to that coming into balance. So she's kind of. Looked at that a million times. Boris is not, that's not the real Boris, you guys. Okay, he was rounded up right about the time I think that he went into the hospital, okay, and had his big issue and near-death experience with the dreaded illness, okay, so that big story, okay. He's not been the real guy. Look at how many different wigs he wears, okay, like just have a look at his hair from vision of him to vision of him. And recently they showed that picture of him with his head in his hands, and they let the cat out of the bag at how he's not handling things very well. And then there was that snide remark at the end of that little clip, and it said something like, and his hygiene's really slipped or something. I can't remember. I shared it everywhere, but I mean, it was obviously like he would never let, the mainstream media would never let that one slide. That was.
I think they should get his wig to jump off his head and run off. Yeah.
He's not been him for a long time. I think, my personal opinion about Ricardo Boise is that he's got really good intel, and he's really close to the White Hats and Alliance, and because they knew they needed a really good person. He's almost like the Trump of Australia. And they needed somebody like that because Australia was so inundated with baddies. So they had to let that guy in on it. And he's been letting a lot of cats out of the bag.
Oh, he really has. It's been great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of letting the cats out of the bag, this is what I usually do on my show. And okay, so there's a lot of people here. This is a global show, right? We got Canada and UK in the States, and I do a giveaway. And I usually do a giveaway of, if you guys could see this, turn the page. It's a big T-shirt here. And what I like to do is give this T-shirt away to somebody in the United States. So if somebody in the UK or Canada wins, it costs more money to ship this T-shirt than what it costs to print it. So there's only one size, you guys, and it's just my logo. It's turn the page, helping humanity one show at a time. It's mint green because that's what my logo is, but I'm getting other ones made up. And this is my last one. I've been giving these away for about a week or two. And this is how I thought I would do it. Catherine, have you written a book?
Have I? Well,
yes.
I'm in the process of writing one.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can't do that. So what I would do is if somebody in the UK wins, I can give them something from the Amazon. I hate to do that, but it's much easier to go through Amazon and send you something as a gift through there and through an email. And then if they wanted to, buy a PDF or a book or something, because I would normally give away, if you're an author, give away a PDF of your book, right? I thought you'd written a book, Catherine, but hurry up.
If anyone wins from the UK, well, from anywhere, but I've got animal courses online, so they can have one of those.
Okay. Or else, if it's in the United States, you'll get the T-shirt. So I need a keyword, and I'll show you how this works. It's a lot of fun. So I just need to, there's a giveaway tool that I have that I'm not in control with, and anyone that puts a keyword into the chat, and who wants to pick what the keyword would be, because that's what they have to type into the chat. How about we just say the word love, okay? If they type the word love in the chat right now, you're going to win something. depending on what country you're from. So you guys, everyone in the chat, just type in the word love. And I'm going to actually, on my end here, put the word love in.
Lots of love out there.
Yeah, everybody share the love, and I'm going to give you guys time to do it because this is a little bit delayed from when we're talking. So we'll give it a couple of minutes, and then I start collecting all the comments in it. And good luck to anybody who wins. This will be really good. So let me share my screen. Excuse me, I apologize. I'm at the tail end of this cold.
Can I remind everybody of something real quick?
Oh my. Yeah, I hope that's not blinding you guys.
It's a retrograde.
Uh-huh.
It's a Mercury retrograde. So my feeling of people feeling frustrated and things are held up is they going to wait till right after the retrograde to all systems go, or in the middle of it, it would be another really cool time, because retrogrades are really good at clearing up. Like if you got a bunch of stuff that's not been cleared up from the past, the retrogrades are a really good time to clear it up. So that would be one way you could handle it, where right in the middle of the retrograde, so that'd be sometime in the middle of this coming week, you could they could shift everything, and all of the things we've been waiting for could start happening, like that crash in the market and etc. And the other thing is with retrogrades, they tend to hold things up and delay things. But the minute it's over, within about 4 days of it actually being over, so there's this shadow period, it'll all of a sudden, it's like you hit the pavement and you go forward a lot faster than usual. So it could happen right after, like within days of the retrograde ending. So that, like, those are two interesting things to just be watching for around everything tumbling. And I think it all starts with that money system crash.
Yeah. I'm wondering, I'm letting everybody, they're still putting the word love in, because I've got, from what I could see, like 3,000 people. But let me just reiterate, there's a giveaway tool, and depending on what country you are in, it depends on what you will win. But Catherine was generous enough to say, what did you say you were going to give
I've got a couple of animal courses on my Catherine Edwards Academy website. So if you've got a dog or a cat or a horse, you can choose one of those courses, and I can give you free access to it.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you're in the United States, you get this beautiful T-shirt. It's huge. There's only one size, you guys, so I think it's an extra large. All right, so we'll give you guys like 30 seconds more, and we're starting to collect them all. It'll tell us how many are in there. I don't control the tool after I hit start collecting comments, and it'll go through, and this will be a great way to end the show. And I appreciate both of you being on the show. This was a lot of fun with you. Janine, you have just such a wealth of information, and I could definitely tell that you do your homework. I don't know how you do it, because as soon as I start getting ramped up at something, the energies change and everything shifts. And then I'm like, okay, I got to go this direction. I just feel like I'm being pulled at times. So you do hold it together. And Catherine, you are remarkable with all the shows that you're doing. I want to just thank you guys before we end this, and just say thank you so much for being here, and hope to see you guys soon again. All right. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to, a couple more, if you want to sneak in the word love, and we'll see. Someone says if the T-shirt doesn't fit, they're going to make it into a pillow. You do that. You sleep on it. Here we go. All right. So the word is love, and there are 34 entries. Is that it? Just 34, you guys? And let's go. And these are all the people that entered into it. And we'll see who the winner is. Oh, Lee Overby. Oh, my goodness. I actually know who this is. Oh, she follows me a lot. Thank you
Yay.
so much. So Lee, you get a T-shirt if you are in the States. I don't know where you're located, but this is what you have to do to collect your prize: is you have to go to my website, which is Turn the Page with Janine.social, and in there's a tab called Connect or Contact, and you just put your information in, and you just tell me that you are the winner, and this will go out in the mail to you if you're in the United States, and if not, we will get a hold of Catherine if you're not in the States here. But congratulations, Lee! Thank you so much for playing and watching and being a loyal subscriber to my channel. So let me stop sharing here, and I'm going to ask the ladies. Wasn't that fun, you guys?
Yeah, super fun.
Any last parting words that you want to share with anybody right now? Just words of wisdom, or just sharing your light one more time.
Well, I will say thank you so much, Janine, for having us. Thank you. It was such fun. And my parting words are, everyone, be nice to real lizards, the animal type. They don't deserve all the bad rap.
Good one. Oh, by the way, speaking of lizards, I saw a show recently. It was on Netflix, and I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it was literally lizards had taken over the world, and they were creating these. They made the world methane gas. They were slowly turning it into methane, and the humans were there were zombie humans and part lizard humans, because lizards were infiltrating everybody. All the politicians had been like the lizards were going into their bodies and using them and stuff. It was so realistic to what's actually been happening on some level. And I think it was the plan was that, okay, because beyond the dark cult banksters and all those creepy human creeps, okay, they have bosses or they have entities that rule them, I think. This is what Cliff High always talks about and stuff. He calls it the bug, but I'm thinking it's those kind of entities. And I think that show was a nod to it. Anyway, I just forgot to say that while we were chatting, but my parting words are
What are they?
Yeah, there's all these shows telling you exactly what was planned. And that's one of them. And they're all over Netflix, by the way. If you want to know what's been going on, just watch Netflix.
So that's the white hats are behind the Netflix. They've taken it over.
I think so. I really think so. And then there's another really good one with Denzel Washington, really, Deja Vu. And it literally is about folding time, and that they have a machine that can look back 4 days in time. And I swear it was just nodding to what they know. I think It's a nod to, that Starlink or something like that. I think they're just letting all the cats out of the bag that way now.
Oh, this is fantastic. Lee is in Benton, Arkansas, so she's in my state. So you're off the hook, Catherine.
Anytime.
This was a lot of fun. I so enjoy this, and I hope that we could do this again really soon. And also, too, wanted you ladies to know that I do these morning shows, and I call them impromptu. Sometimes I schedule them. But if you, and I put them out on Twitter and Facebook, if you happen to see that I've gone live, and if you want to join in, and you don't have to be on camera because it's super early in the morning, just to say hi to everyone, what I'll do is just send you the link really quickly, and everyone just gets a kick out of it. It is, even I do. I think I do even more so. But so this is great. Thank you all for both of you for the work that you do, and God bless you.
Thank you, everyone. So lovely to have the interaction.
Yeah.
Okay, and now we turn the page. Bye-bye.